Really quick light test on 3PO here showed that there was massive light leak all around the edge of the head. And I didn't think there was on this guy over here, but going back, sure enough, pretty much in all the same spots. I don't know if I'm going to pop this guy's head apart, simply because he's already glued into the body, kinda. So he definitely needs more work, and I'll do that later after the Jupiter's done someday. It'll be in the surgery series at that point. There's a few models there that I've popped apart and done repair work on. In this case, I would definitely paint over the eyes there to make them round again. I might groove the plastic out a little, however the damage that is there is essentially damage. You can see in his right eye left screen that I actually drilled 4 holes in his eye. That's because I didn't like where I put one of the holes, and it looks like I put that lower fiber in the wrong one. But that was the test, and that was okay. And you can almost see 3 fiber optics there, right? One at 1 o'clock, another at just about 5:30, and can't quite make out the 11 o'clock one, or I suppose it should be 10 o'clock actually. I have to work them with a soldering iron, make some melt points I think here and there, especially on the hip. That's got to be redone sooner than later. And I think I mentioned other things I wanted to do to the plastic overall as well. But definitely not too bad. It's a good sizable figure that builds up pretty well. I think the lights are probably looking good. Yeah, I'd say maybe this is a 12 volt power supply, and maybe if I went with a 9 volt, that would bring the light levels down just enough so that when he's standing in full light, you can't tell that the lights are on. They'd almost look dark. But when you go off to the shadow, it lights up. So for 3PO here, I think the camera cut off before I put most of this together, actually. This leg was just a repeat of the other, that kind of thing. I again carved out the inside of the shoulder ring there on this side to get the arm to fit better. That's glued into place and not moving anywhere. I like the paint on there, but it's not accurate, of course. But it does give it a deep burnished sort of look. And ideally what I'd want to do with a 3PO model is get that tarnished multi-layer crud going on, not the high polish gloss that you see at the end of New Hope, but the one you see throughout Empire, the one you see throughout New Hope as well. Can't believe I'm calling it New Hope instead of just Star Wars. Jesus. So obviously I have one more arm to put in here. That'll go easy, but I want to do that after I put the head together, which is going to involve not a sheet of styrene going around, but I think a snake of Ava's epoxy. And that would allow me to put a little excess on this guy over here, and slowly over years get a little bit of work done all the time. I think his hips are almost ready for another prime coat to see how those look. But back to 3PO here. Yeah, so a little Ava's epoxy. Glue this on. Let's take a look at the light leak on this one as well. And then I'll do the feet once I've got all the body ready to stand and I can balance them the way it will be. Does that make sense? So one LED. So I think the fiber optics work a little better in this case, but what really needs to happen, I think, is an LED for the fibers alone, then a backlighting LED in the head. I cut these a little too short to be of any super practical use. I was thinking I might be able to put like a tube of heat shrink around the fibers in an LED, but I don't know that I want to get that complicated really. And I don't know that it needs to. Again, this is something that could be done later. Relatively easy enough. So, yeah, let's get that Ava's epoxy out and going. Much better, but not perfect yet. We'll take this off for one last time. Like I said, just a bead of Ava's all the way around the edges. Can actually see through it in some cases, so technically when I do this again, if not this model, then a different model entirely, a brand new one that doesn't have anything wrong with it and nothing's pre-assembled. Paint the inside all black after the Ava's goes in, then silver it up, or copper or brass to change the color of the light coming out of the LED, because that will have an influence. And then do 2 LEDs, one just for the fibers and one for the background light. So yeah, much better. Not perfect, but that's okay. So pretty much all I gotta do now is glue this arm in and stand them up and position the feet. Oh yeah, the feet. So what I still have to do here is route some channels for the wires to go down and then bury them inside like I did here. That's an easy enough process using a drill, holding it sideways against the surface. I'll have to take the foot off entirely, but otherwise that's no issue. Yeah, so let me get a little work done, probably 5 minutes, and be back. Oh shoot, did I not record any of that? Well, there's another 3PO to go, if I didn't. Right at the moment, I've laid out the copper tape just over the top, and I'm cutting a slice between the positive and the negative. Then theoretically I just peel this slice away. Hey, look at that. Perfect. I don't have a base for either of these guys, so I'm going to have to work on that, but they don't need one at the moment. And I don't know if I'd put both of them on one base or separate bases. I can always do an R2-3PO at some point. So the process, if I didn't get it on tape, is bend copper tape forward, and then the cardboard usually bends back a little easier than the copper. Oops. Do not let it get on itself. And lay it down. And power test, we have light. So that pretty much wraps it up for these guys. I'll get some green screen shots of them at some point. May not be immediately. I've still got to give the head here at least several hours, if not a full 24, before I can glue the front on. And that is pretty much that. And of course I have to get bases. So there may be one more video, or there should be one or two more videos. One for doing the bases and one for a final green screen beauty shots. Oh, and I've still got the little knee thrusters to throw on here. I'll just do that. But that's pretty much it for the series. Like I said, one or two more videos, possibly, probably, I guess. But they're not going to be anytime soon. So don't look for them and don't hold your breath. Well, you can hold your breath, but that's up to you. And so, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this quick detour on the Jupiter 2 for some paint and electrical tests. See ya.